All right, yep. All right. Did you punch the button, Ted?
Sweet. Thank you.
Yep. The hour of 5 o'clock has arrived. We will start our Finance and Personnel Committee meeting Monday, November 11th. First, we'll have our call to order.
Alder Horton,
Aye.
Alder Davis, Alder Land. That completes roll call.
Okay, Alder Sebastian has asked to be excused, and Alder McCarthy is absent. Now we'll have the approval of the minutes from our October 7th, 2024 meeting. It's been moved and properly second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries. First item.
Item number 014-24, communication sponsored by Alder Horton on behalf of the Finance Director requesting permission to present the 2025 operating plan for the Douglas Avenue bid for review and approval. Staff recommendation that the 2025 operating plan for the Douglas Avenue bid be approved and that the special charge be placed on the tax bills. Fiscal note, special charge of $74,635 will be placed on the 2024 tax bills. Kelly Cruz is here from the Douglas bid if you would like her to speak on the item.
Oh, go ahead. Yep. Just a moment. Could you press your mic for me, please? Yeah. She didn't press. Yeah, she didn't press the button. No, not yet. Not yet. Okay. All right. All right. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, on behalf of the Douglas Avenue bid, we've worked really hard on maintaining the same mill rate as last year. We've made some significant improvements in the Douglas Avenue district, including street banners, additional marketing, additional security for the district. We've been working hard with the Racine Police Department with maintaining the speed control as well as having additional cameras that they have access to at all times. We've done seasonal flower pots, so really our main focus is beautification, safety and security, and marketing, and I think we've done a really great job. We're keeping that mill rate the exact same, and I think I think we're on the right track.
All right. Any discussion on the item? At this time, I entertain a motion. I have a move by Alder Davis, second by Alder Land. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you.
Item number 0969-24, communication sponsored by Alder Horton on behalf of the City Development requesting review and approval of the 2025 operating plan for Business Improvement District Number 3, Uptown. Staff recommendation that the plan be approved and that the Finance Director be authorized and directed to include the district's special charges on the 2024 property tax bills of affected parcels. Fiscal note, it is estimated that $41,652 will be raised through bid assessments. Don't think we have anyone here tonight from the Uptown bid.
Okay. All right. So for the auditors here, I would entertain a motion for this item here. Well, I would make a motion to approve item 0969-24. All right. It's been motion by the chair, second by Alder Land. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries. Next item.
Item number 0924-24, communication sponsored by Alder Horton on behalf of the Chief Information Officer requesting permission to enter into a sole source 6-year professional services agreement number 2024-339 with Pictometry International Corporation to purchase software and complete 2 aerial flyovers of the city. Staff recommendation that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to execute and sign professional services agreement number 2024-339 with Pictometry International Corporation to purchase software and complete 2 aerial flyovers of the city of Racine. Fiscal note, total cost of $97,230 paid over 6 years. Costs for 2024 have already been paid under the current contract. Costs for 2025 and subsequent years will be appropriated during the annual budget process. CIO Edwards is here to speak on the item.
Right.
Thank you, Alder Horton, Director Fisher, and Mayor Mason. The City of Racine has had a contract with Pictometry International Corporation since 2013 to ensure our Geographic Information System, GIS, has up-to-date aerial views of the City of Racine. The aerial survey completed every 3 years provides approximately 70 times more detailed images than the standard satellites such as Google. It includes both top-down, ortho, and single side-angle oblique imagery. Accessors, community service officers, attorneys, engineers, the fire and the police department, as well as Racine County, all use and are very pleased with the system and the company. Creating a new contract now allows us to upgrade to their cloud environment with better integration with Esri, the city's GIS software, single sign-on, and other improvements. If approved, they would start the flyover in March of 2025. Any questions?
Any questions for the director? All right. At this time, I will make a motion to approve item 0924-24. Can I get a second? All right. Been moved by the chair and properly seconded by Alder Land. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 0925-24, communication sponsored by Alder Horton on behalf of the Chief Information Officer requesting authorization for the mayor and city clerk to enter into a professional services agreement number 2024-398 with Racine Art Museum to have technological service provided by the Management Information Services Department. Staff recommendation that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to enter into said agreement with Racine Art Museum Incorporated to have technological service provided by Management Information Systems Department. Fiscal note, revenue to the city of $126,000 over the 3 years of the contract. CIO Edwards is here to speak on the item.
Just to mention that the City of Racine's MIS department has provided the service for the Racine Art Museum since 2013. The contract was very old, and so the Racine Art Museum and the MIS department met to discuss a new agreement that better met the needs of both organizations and more accurately described the obligations of both parties. I can answer any questions.
Any discussion on the item? All right. This time I will entertain a motion for this item. Oh, just a moment. Alder Davids.
Thank you. Has there been an increase from the Racine Art Museum? Will it be increasing their revenue to the city?
From the original contract, yes.
Okay.
And the new contract also has the opportunity every year to increase that amount
All right. Thank you.
as needed.
Any other discussion on the item? All right. I will entertain a motion at this time. All right. I have a motion by Alder Land and second by Alder Davids. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carried. Next item.
Item number 1017-24, communication sponsored by Alder Horton on behalf of the Public Health Department requesting permission to continue the agreement with Wisconsin Humane Society for stray and impound animal shelter services in the amount of $216,039.10. Staff recommendation that the Public Health Department be authorized to continue the agreement with Wisconsin Humane Society for stray and impound animal shelter services. Fiscal note, contract payment is part of the 2025 Public Health Department budget. Public Health Director Bowersox is here to speak on the item.
All right, Director Bowersox.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good afternoon. So since 2013, the City of Racine Public Health Department has facilitated the annual Wisconsin Humane Society contract. The contract includes sheltering, care, treatment, humane disposal of stray, abandoned, and impounded animals located in the geographic limits of the city of Racine. Animal care specifically includes 24/7 admitting services, daily custodial care while in shelter, necessary and appropriate veterinarian treatment, euthanasia and cremation services while abiding by applicable statutory holding periods, seizures while assisting humane and/or law enforcement officials, holding of impounded animals for law enforcement and court systems, rabies control, including quarantine and vaccination, redemption, and licensing. Included with this is free spay and neutering for those animals that are deemed dangerous. Also, there's vaccination clinics that are held twice a year for the citizens of the city of Racine. They have locations in West Allis, Ozaki, Milwaukee, Green Bay, and Kenosha for the facilitation of the adoption and the care of the animals. And specifically, within the last 12 months, again, in the city of Racine, there were 942 adoptions, 427 reclaims, 6,193 days of care were provided. The $216.39 number, which is the annual cost for this contract, has been the same since 2018. So again, since 2018, we've seen no increase in the amount of this contract. They also, besides having primarily cats and then dogs, they also facilitate exotic animals and livestock, which are found in the city of Racine that are here illegally, and or animals that are seized by the police department.
All right. Any discussion on this item? No. All right, this time I will entertain a motion for this item 1017-24. All right, it's been moved by Alder Davis and second by Alder Land. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item.
Item number 0979-24, communication sponsored by Mayor Mason on behalf of the Executive Director of the Community Development Authority, requesting to submit bid results for contract 2024-175, demolition of 725 Lake Avenue, CDBG. Staff recommendation that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to execute and award the contract to New Berlin Grading, the lowest responsible bidder, at their base bid of $1,082.87. $1,082,087. I'm just going to say that again. That was totally wrong. Fiscal note, 2024 CDBG funds in Chapter 5, other real improvements exist in the amount of $425,190 for this demolition activity. The remaining balance to complete this project, $656,897, will be shared from TID number 9 to TID number 17 and then spent under the half-mile provision out of TID number 17. This expenditure is allowable within both the TID 9 and TID 17 project plans. Assistant Director Hintz is here to speak on the item.
All right. Director Hintz.
Thank you. Yeah, perhaps you've heard about this building. Maybe not, but if you haven't, no, I'm kidding. No, we went out to bid with it. Due to the complexity of the project, this is the second time it had gone out to bid. Some of you on council may have received an email about one of the contractors who had submitted and some of the verifications that they had or didn't have is more or less what the issue was. So you do not see them on this list, but we've gone through all that, vetted it with DPW and our legal staff. Thanks to the city attorney for helping us out with that. New Berlin Grading, just as a comfort level with them. They're actually doing a lot of the prep work for the Woodmans that you see being constructed, so they're local and are familiar with our procedures and policies. They were at both the walkthroughs the first time it was bid and then the second time it was rebid, along with several others, so we have full confidence they'll be able to get this job done for us within that budget. If you have any questions, I will be happy to take those.
Any questions? Alderland? Alderland, press your button, I'm sorry.
How soon can we expect this project to be completed, an estimate at the best? Or?
Sure. Yeah, good question. Actually talked with my contact from there today to see if everything was in order to go ahead. They're ready to get started, so this will actually go to the council next week, and once the contract is done, they'll be able to get started yet this year on it. And what you'll see in terms of progress is there'll be a lot of asbestos removal and things like that from the building. You can't just knock it down and haul it away. There'll be a lot of that work going on. The contract requires the building be essentially down by May, but I think it'll be done much sooner than that, though. They're ready to get started.
Are they going to be able to recycle any of the materials from that building or not?
Some of them, yes, it'll be their discretion as to which ones, but some of the fill and things will be used to take care of the hole, the pit that it will leave, and then some of the materials in there, it'll be their discretion to recycle, and, you know, that's built into their pricing. They'll have salvage rights.
Thank you.
Alder Davis.
Thank you. So the ideal is to use CDBG funds to demo this building. If it's not approved, what happens?
Good question. I would punt and go talk to the finance director and say, where can I find $425,190 from? And hopefully it's in TID 9. But I'll defer to Ms. Fisher on that.
Sure, thank you, Jeff. So the staff worked pretty diligently to determine funding sources associated with this. There's a specific provision in CDBG where this fits quite eloquently in terms of use of CDBG dollars for demolition of, I'm going to use the word blight. This most certainly fits the definition of that, which is why we started with CDBG. The secondary funding source of using TID was because we didn't have enough CDBG to be able to use for this type. Had we had enough CDBG, I certainly would have used all CDBG, but it's a big building, it's expensive to tear down. If for whatever reason the Common Council did not authorize this set of funding source, it would delay the project and we'd have to come back with a different set of funding sources to be approved by the Common Council.
So in the end, the building that we purchased for low dollars is actually going to cost
It will cost, yes.
tremendous amount of dollars,
Correct.
no matter which way we go.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
That's all. Thank you.
Any other discussion on the item? If not, I will make a motion to, oh, sorry, Alderwoman Wagner, go ahead.
First, I have a comment, and then I have a question. My comment is, the city could have done the same thing in the case of the YMCA that we did with the theater in Capitol Theater in West Racine. We could have tore that building down and build the YMCA for the demolition of that building if they didn't do it themselves. So I'm really disappointed that we're going to spend over $1 million to tear down a building that we could have been reimbursed for. My second comment is in regards to the TID, using TID money from 3 different TIDs when we should be using CDBG money. And if we weren't putting so much CDBG money into one bucket, we would have the money in CDBG to tear down that building that we shouldn't have to tear down in the first place. So my question is, for the finance director, is CDBG going to pay back these TIDs after this building is torn down, as there are CDBG dollars available?
It's a good question. Thank you for the question. Actually, we were intending on using more CDBG. However, there are very specific rules as to what percentage of your CDBG allocation, and in this case, we're using 2 years of allocation, what percentage of our CDBG allocation we can actually use for this source. So, and Jeff can certainly talk about this, we actually worked with Agency 5 out of Illinois, out of Chicago, to actually get this certified, and this was the maximum dollar amount we could use in CDBG. So again, we were looking to try to use more CDBG. Just because it's available doesn't mean it can be used for this purpose, or at least that much. So our secondary funding source was indeed TID, and in this case, TID number 9 is sharing with TID number 17, and not to get too far into the weeds, but there's actually a reason why. TID number 9 is past its expenditure period, or else we would have expended it right out of TID number 9.
Okay, so will the CDBG, as money becomes available in those demolition buckets, to pay back those TIDs?
No, we are not allowed to do that under CDBG rules.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion on the item? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve 0979-24. All right. It's been motion by the chair, second by Alderland. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passed.
Item number 0980-24, communication sponsored by Alder Davis on behalf of the Community Development Authority, requesting permission to acquire property owned by City of Racine located at 1624 Holmes Avenue for blight elimination and redevelopment, and that the CDA acquires such property notwithstanding that it is not in an existing redevelopment area. Staff recommendation that the property be transferred to the CDA for blight elimination and redevelopment, and that the CDA acquire such property notwithstanding that it is not in an existing redevelopment area. Fiscal note, transfer the property will require $30 in recording fees. All future proceeds from the redevelopment sale minus commissions and fees will be routed back as program income to the home program. Assistant Director Hintz is here to speak on the item.
Assistant Director Hintz, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, this is just down the street. There are two houses between this vacant lot that the city has and a church property that's vacant and been vacant for some time that the CDA acquired in October. The church has no congregation. It's been gone for many years. What the plan is that church will be demolished. They tried for several years to sell it. Nobody could buy it from them, or nobody wanted it, whatever the case may be. So we will have that removed. The home funding will take care of the entire cost of the project. This lot will be included, and we will build 4 or 5 houses on that in this particular project, including on this lot, would it be transferred. So that's our intent with it. It's easier if the CDA have it just for the purposes of doing contracts and bidding and things of that nature. So we're requesting the lot be transferred to the CDA so we can use it for that project at the corner. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to take those.
Any questions for Assistant Director Hintz? If not, I will entertain a motion. Second. It's been moved and second. It's been moved by Alderland and second by the chair. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries. Next item.
Item 0951-24, communication sponsored by Mayor Mason on behalf of the City of Racine Fire Department, requesting permission to adopt ordinance 0006-24, ambulance billing and lift assistance cost recovery. Staff recommendation is to approve. Fire Chief Hansen is here to speak on the item.
Good evening, Chairman Horton, members of the Finance Committee. This is a cleanup of the existing ordinance that we have on the books to allow the fire department to bill for various activities associated with what we call an invalid assist call. These are calls where the fire department is contacted in a non-emergency situation to respond to various entities in the city to assist people getting off the floor that don't have a medical emergency. Year to date, I can tell you that we've gone on over 430 of these calls this year, and it does impact our ability to deliver emergency services to the citizens of Racine, because while we're on these calls, units are out of service and not available for subsequent calls. So this resolution cleans up some of the language that exists currently. It also implements the fee structure that will be associated with this. And the goal is to try and convince folks that, you know, before you call 911, you should try and handle the situation yourself. Again, we're here to provide emergency services. If we're in a non-emergency response like this, somebody calls in with a significant medical emergency, we may not have a unit available to cover that. If you have any questions, happy to try and answer those now.
Any questions for the chief? All right. Alderwoman Wagner.
So, Chief, just to be clear, that this ordinance is really specific to the new fees that are added into the 2025 proposed budget?
That is correct, yes. Yes.
In typical timeframe, we would ask that this item also be referred to the Public Safety and Licensing Committee. Do you know if that has been referred to the PSL?
I believe it has, and I'm scheduled to be there on Wednesday. Yep.
Any other questions for the chief? If not, I will entertain a motion. I have a motion by Alder Davis, second by Alder Land. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Item number 1012-24, communication sponsored by Mayor Mason on behalf of the Finance Director, presenting results of the ARPA Funds Fund 229 as of 9/30/2024. Staff recommendation to approve the ARPA Funds Fund 229 as of 9/30/2024 as presented. So included in the legislative item was a document that is similar to what I have shared with the alders in the past relating to the ARPA funds. And really what this document does is it shows what we have spent. These are, again, our direct ARPA funds from the Treasury. We were allocated almost $46.3 million in direct ARPA funds from the Treasury. As of 9/30/2024, as reported to Department of Treasury, we've spent almost $22.2 million of those funds. We have $3.8 million formally encumbered in those funds, and then we have a column on here relating to committed. So there's some highlighted items specifically on the document that I have attached. I wanted to highlight those for you today because the following items that we are going to cover on F&P address those specific items. And each one of them has a different category that has been allocated. So this is really just more of a presentation to give you an update before we would get into these subsequent items. So I'm happy to take questions on this document.
Any questions? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion. Second. It's been moved by Alder Land and second by the chair. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries. Next item.
Item number 1015-24, communication sponsored by Mayor Mason on behalf of the Finance Director, requesting authorization for the Mayor and City Clerk to enter into an interagency agreement with the MIS Department to continue the Smart Cities Initiative program using City Direct federal ARPA funds for 2025 and 2026. Staff recommendation that the Mayor and City Clerk be authorized to enter into an interagency agreement with the MIS Department to continue the Smart Cities Initiative program using City Direct federal ARPA funds for 2025 and 2026. Fiscal note, the interagency agreement will be in the amount of $200,000 and will be spent over a 2-year period. Funds are available in Fund 229, City Direct ARPA. If I could just start, I will just give a preface to this because the next 3 items are relatively similar. So direct ARPA funding has to be encumbered by the community by 12/31 of 2024 or must be returned to the federal government. As part of that encumbrance process, one of the things that is allowable by the Treasury is to enter into what are called interagency or interdepartmental agreements with departments that are currently performing programs relating to ARPA and perhaps have employees or part-time employees associated with those programs. One of the programs that was authorized by the Common Council years back was the Smart Cities program that is being run by the MIS Department. The agreement itself is actually attached here, or a draft of the agreement, as well as the scope of work. Adele Edwards is here if you have questions relating to the scope of work.
Anyone have any questions relating to scope of work? Well, at this time, what, you about to push your button there, Alder? Yes. Go ahead. You are.
Director, if you can tell me, what exactly is Smart City?
A smart city is a city that uses technology to help improve the lives of its citizens. And so one of the things that we've been using this funding for is a lot of our digital equity work. So the city was in 2019 designated as a smart city based on a lot of the work it had done historically. And we continue that work today. So it's not just digital equity. That's what we've been using these ARPA funds for. There are other things that we do that make it a smart city. Some of the things that DPW does regarding its lighting, the use of solar for the transit department, electric buses, things like that.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on the item? Not, I will entertain a motion on item 1015-24. Second. Been moved by Alder Land and second by the chair. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries. Next item.
Item number 1013-24, communication sponsored by Mayor Mason on behalf of the Finance Director requesting authorization for the mayor and city clerk to enter into an interagency agreement with the Human Resources Department to continue the City of Racine Youth Employment Program using City Direct federal ARPA funds for 2025 and 2026. Staff recommendation that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to enter into an interagency agreement with the Human Resources Department to continue the City of Racine Youth Employment Program using City Direct federal ARPA funds for 2025 and 2026. Fiscal note, interagency agreement will be in the amount of $300,000 and will be spent over a 2-year period. Funds are available in Fund 229, City Direct ARPA. Again, similar situation to just the previous one. This would be to continue the city's youth employment program. There was a presentation done to the Finance and Personnel Committee regarding the program about a month ago or so that the equity officer did to the Finance and Personnel Committee. The equity officer is here to speak on the program if there are questions tonight.
Are there any questions for the equity officer? No questions? At this time, I entertain a motion. I'll make a motion to approve 1013-24. Can I get a second? It's been moved by the chair and second by Alder Land. Alder Davis, okay. Second by Alder Davis. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries. Next item.
Item number 1016-24, communication sponsored by Mayor Mason on behalf of the Finance Director requesting authorization for the Mayor and City Clerk to enter into an interagency agreement with the City of Racine Community Development Authority to continue the housing programs using City Direct federal ARPA funds for 2025 and 2026. Staff recommendation that the Mayor and City Clerk be authorized to enter into interagency agreements with the City of Racine Community Development Authority to continue the housing programs using City Direct federal ARPA funds for 2025-2026. Interagency agreement will be in the amount of $2,973,125 and will be spent over a 2-year period of time. Specifically, $1,833,100 will be used for matching funds for housing grant in Lincoln King neighborhood. The remaining $840,025 will be used for blight elimination and neighborhood improvement citywide. In addition to that, which this should be in the fiscal note as well, $300,000 in addition to that will be used for down payment assistance for the Employee Down Payment Assistance Program. Funds are available in Fund 229, City Direct ARPA. Again, similar to the other 2 interagency agreements, but this one covers 3 separate programs. Having said that, the matching funds for the Lincoln King Housing Grant, this is very specifically matched for that grant and is part of that funding source. So that's matching a $15 million grant from the state of Wisconsin. Any other questions either Jeff or I could answer?
Any questions for the finance director? Alderwoman Wagner.
So I would say at this time, we haven't exactly pinned down how much of that is for blight removal. I would say the vast majority would be used for blight removal, so this would be used for purchase, demolition, remediation, and just straight up site prep for any potential housing in more of the underserved neighborhoods. It's a very good question, and thank you for asking it, because I actually did take a look into this very specifically. I appreciate it. And let me just clarify. This 840 will actually be used citywide. It just has to be used in underserved neighborhoods, if you will, of which the YMCA and the property of which the YMCA is located would not qualify as an underserved area because of its proximity to Lake Michigan. So this cannot be used for the demolition of the YMCA.
Any other questions? At this time, I would entertain a motion. Second. All right. So we have a motion by Alderland, second by the chair. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries. Next item.
Item number 0998-24, communication sponsored by Elder Horton on behalf of the City Attorney's Office, submitting the claim of Danias Green for consideration for disallowance. Staff recommendation that the claim be disallowed. Deputy City Attorney Rubik here to speak on the item.
Yep,
Thank you. So this claim was filed by Danias Green, requesting $4,128.89 for damages allegedly arising from the claimant's vehicle being struck by a tree branch while it was parked in the vicinity of his home at 2203 Ohio Street in Racine back on July 14th of this year. The city had no prior notice of a current defect in the tree in question, and therefore the city did not have a ministerial duty to service this tree, and the city is immune from liability for that reason. The recommendation of the City Attorney's Office is that the claim be disallowed.
Any discussion on the item? I will move to disallow item 0998-24 in a second. It's been moved by the chair and second by Alderland. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries. Next item.
Item number 0999-24, communication sponsored by Elder Horton on behalf of the City Attorney's Office, submitting the claim of Jeffrey Persons for consideration for disallowance. Staff recommendation that the claim be disallowed. Deputy City Attorney Rubik.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Claimant Jeffrey Persons filed a claim with the city requesting an unspecified amount of damages to his vehicle that were allegedly caused by a Department of Public Works solid waste collection vehicle on February 15th, 2024. There were defects in his claim as filed, and for that reason, and beyond that, there's no actual evidence that the city caused the alleged damage to his vehicle. Therefore, it's the recommendation of the City Attorney's Office that this claim be disallowed. To highlight some of the defects in his claim, it was not filed timely. People have 120 days since the event giving rise to the claim to file a claim with the city. This claim was filed on August 2nd, 2024, but it allegedly occurred on February 15th, 2024. In order to be timely, it would have had to be filed on or before June 14th of this year. So it wasn't timely, and therefore it's not actionable under the law. And beyond that, the city has no police reports, no reports from DPW staff. There's no evidence that the DPW caused these damages, and the claimant offered no such written statements or reports, so there's no reason to believe that the city is liable for the damages to his vehicle. So we would ask that you disallow.
Any discussion on the item? I will entertain a motion at this time. Moved by Alder Davis, second by Alder Land. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries. We have exhausted our agenda and we are adjourned.